So this came in the post for me. This is the Kesterel V2 from Eshooter, and to be honest, until a few weeks ago, I'd never even heard of this company. Lately, we are seeing more companies releasing their own optical MOSFETs. These are already pre-installed into guns such as Double Eagle in their Falcon fire control system. And while this does have some programmability, it's nothing compared to a Gate Titan. However, Kesterel may be trying to knock Gate off the top spot. Just from unboxing it, you can definitely get a lot of Titan vibes, purely from the packaging and just how things are actually labelled. This is a split board optical MOSFET designed to replace your standard trigger unit. At the moment, it's only available for version 2 rear-wired gearboxes, but a version 3 unit is in the works. The MOSFET itself comes with 18 AWG Teflon wiring with Dean's connectors already installed. You also get 2 fuses, a 25 amp mini fuse on the wiring and a smart fuse installed onto the MOSFET board. This is going to help protection against shorts. The board itself comes with 5 optical trigger sensors, 3 selector plate sensors and 1 optical gear sensor, just like you'd find on the Gate Titans. On the top board you also get this weird little switch that needs to be mounted on the outside of the gearbox. Now this is your magazine detection, and from what I've seen from other videos of people installing these, they haven't got this. They've got some kind of little button they've got to stick to the underside of the gearbox shell. So I think I've got the newer version, but I'm not too sure. You can of course program this MOSFET from your phone using Bluetooth. You get real-time data, lifetime free software updates, and it seems to have just as many features as what you'd find on an advanced Gate Titan, but for a lot less. So on paper it sounds good, but what's it going to be like in the real world? Well, when it came to the install, the instructions made it sound really simple. Pretty much the same as what you need to do for a Titan. Drop it in, change a few little bits, take some things out, off you go. This wasn't the case. First, I need to cut down these nubs on the gearbox shell. Okay, not a problem, you need more space and you've got to do this for Titans as well. Second, you need to put a sticker on your selector plate because this one isn't reflective. Again, just like the Titans, not a problem with that, carry on. Now this is where it became a problem. As you can see, the shell actually covered up one of the sensors for the selector plate, so you really did just have to adjust the gearbox completely. After a quick Dremel, that did sort itself out, but this really annoyed me. So now it's all done and back together, next thing to do, download the Eshooter's app. This is completely free for both Android and Apple devices. Once installed, plug the battery in and you can connect to the MOSFET. For the testing I am using an 11.1 LiPo, but apparently this thing can take up to a 17 volts battery, which is just nuts. On the home screen you can see the app is already set up for the V3 style MOSFETs. You can also go to the settings and you can check for any system updates. Once you've found your MOSFET, it will ask you for the password. As default, it is 888888, but you can change this if you want to. Once you're in, you'll be greeted by the dashboard. Here you can see your BB counter, rate of fire, trigger response, battery types, power ratings, and much more. On the settings tab, you can of course change your fire controls. However, you cannot remove the safe function, which to me I feel is a must, but if I remember, I think on the Gate Titans you can actually change that to something else. The semi and auto modes of course can be changed. You can change them from safe, semi, auto, AUG, which gives you an AUG style trigger, so a slight pull, single shot, full pull will give you full auto, burst, binary, which is pull, it fires, release, it fires, and sniper, which is a weird one because you can pull the trigger but it won't fire until you release it. Not sure how that works or if that's any use to anyone, but if it is, let me know, I'll be interested. You can also change the round count on the burst mode from 3 all the way up to 10 shots. You can also change the trigger sensitivity from fine to a long pull, but I've got to be honest, even on its finest settings, it's still got a lot of travel. You have of course also got your pre-cocking and your pre-cocking boost, rate of fire control from 50 to 100%, and possibly my favourite gimmick on this is the 30 round magazine control. So when this is selected, if there is no magazine in the magwell, you can pull that trigger all you want and nothing is going to happen. It's not until you've inserted a mag, pull the trigger, and it's actually going to fire. Now you get 30 shots out of this before it locks up again, and you're going to have to release that magazine and put a new one back in. Great for milsims if you don't have 30 round mags, or just for some drills as well. It's really nice. Below that, it'll also ask you to set your gear ratio in the gearbox. Now ideally you do need to do this to help it stop jamming up and misfiring, but you have three selections, an 18:1, a 13:1 and of course the DSG, which is a 9:1. If you're running a 16:1 or something in between, I'm not sure what you're going to select, and I'm not sure how it's going to affect you. Below your gear settings, you've got your battery settings. Here you can manually select your battery for the battery protection, either a LiPo or a Li-Fi. Below it, you've also got the cell detection. Now I'm using an 11.1, this is showing 3 cells, so to me, that's looking all correct. And right below that, you've also got your voltage protection as well, which you can turn on or off. On the last page is the sensors. You can flick this onto test mode, and if you do, you can see which sensors are working when you do things. When test mode is active, the gun will not shoot when you pull the trigger. At the bottom, there is of course a calibration mode if you're having problems too. One thing I have noticed when playing around this is if I turn it off test mode, the gearbox is still locked up. I can pull that trigger, nothing's going to happen. I've actually got to unplug the battery and plug it back in again for it to work. So, is this thing going to take over from the Gate Titan? In short, no. It's got a lot of promise. The app is very easy to use. The magazine sensor is fun to play with, but considering it's meant to be a drop-in MOSFET, you need to do a lot of work to your gearbox to make it fit. Don't get me wrong, I've had Titans in the past that have needed some modifications as well, but nothing on this kind of scale. If they manage to sort out the software bugs, maybe upgrade the sensors to what Gate are using, and maybe Gate could see some trouble coming. If you don't have the money for a Gate, but you want something just as advanced, this could be what you need. But if you're looking to do some other gearbox work and you're not sure where to start, check this video out.